guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, what's up? My name is Jess. Today I wanted to go ahead and film the books I have no interest in reading part 2. I have been accumulating just a couple of books. I only have about 5 or 6 on here that I wanted to go ahead and sit down with you guys and talk about. I don't want to offend anybody, but honestly the books that I read are a little bit different or a little bit weird, and I tend to sort of some of the popular books I'm not really into, and I wanted to go ahead and explain why I don't want to read them. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first book I have on here is To All the Boys That I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. The reason why I don't want to read this is because it is first off a teen book, and I don't really enjoy teen. Sometimes I will dabble into teen, but I prefer young adult or adult books. I really read mostly adult, but I also, the storyline for it is a girl writes love letters to every boy that she's ever loved, and then those letters are mailed to every boy that she's ever loved. Now, to me, I don't know who would ever do that to her. I don't know the outcome of the book, if it turned out well, but it sounded so obtrusive and rude to me. And also it seems like one of those like summery romance kind of books, and I'm not really into those. I like really fucked up books. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I like more like fantasy and, you know, a lot less contemporary. I like a lot of things to happen in the books that I'm reading. I just really like a lot of action-y kind of books, and I feel like this would sort of fall flat for me just because, like I said, I don't really do like the romancy, love, like summery kind of things. So I probably won't ever read a Jenny Han book, but I hear she's incredibly sweet, and like I said, I'm not trying to like dog authors or whatever. I know people really love these books, but for me, they're not really something that I'm interested in. I also don't want to read the Selection books by Krates. I have read some reviews of these books, and I've heard kind of awful things about them. I've heard really good things, and I've heard really negative things. So it is essentially about a group of girls, I don't know how many of them, that are to impress this prince or this king so that he can marry them. Now, the main character already has a love interest outside of the Selection, and she's trying to not impress the king or prince, I don't really know, and try to avoid him. Well, then she starts kind of falling for him, and it just sounds so backwards to me. What I've read about it is this world that they live in is completely unrealistic. The world is written very poorly. If you've read these or you want to read these, I'm sorry, but they just do not sound like something I would want to read. Go away, truck, I'm trying to film. Why do I live right next to a road? Can I just move to the middle of nowhere? I know my internet would really suck, but I just cannot stand the noise. The next book I have no interest in reading might come as a surprise to a lot of people, and it may not. If you are a diehard Harry Potter fan and you have read The Cursed Child, please leave in the comments what you thought about it. But I had a couple of friends who tried to read it, who grew up reading Harry Potter, or even who picked up Harry Potter as like young adults, and still they thought that book was awful. Now, I imagine the play is probably better, it's a lot more immersive and a better experience, but just for me, I had no interest in reading The Cursed Child. The next book I have on my list, I'm very sorry about because it's probably going to upset a lot of you. This is all over YouTube, all over BookTube, but it is The Dark Artifices by Cassandra Clare. I really don't want to read these. I have heard a lot of interesting things about this. I've heard that it's really great, and I've heard that it's really terrible. Now, the storyline doesn't really appeal to me, and I know a lot of people read the first one and thought that it was really amazing, read the second one that just came out and they thought it was absolute shit. So for me, with a weak second book, most of the reviews that I'm reading, they're saying the second book is weak. I don't really want to read that. I like strong, you know, series, duologies, whatever it's going to end up being. I think it's going to be like a series or something. I do want to read her other series, but just for right now, I don't think that I'm going to read The Dark Artifices. The next books that I wanted to go ahead and mention also might really piss people off, but I do not want to read any of the Game of Thrones books. I briefly touched on this in other videos, but honestly, they're just very triggering to me. A lot of horrible things happen in them, and I understand sort of it's mildly a timepiece. I understand it's supposed to be semi-historically accurate, even though it is not at all, like, it's all fiction. It's not based on any certain time. Obviously, dragons don't exist in history, but it's supposed to sort of be like that. Now, I watched a little bit of the first and second season, and by a little bit, I mean all of the first and second season, and there was a very graphic rape scene in one of them, and for me, I just could not continue with watching the show. It was just too visually, like, stimulating for me. Like, it was just too much for my brain to handle at the time, and I honestly get more into books. I'm definitely one of those people that when I read a book, I kind of visualize and think things a lot better than I do like with a show, because with a show it's kind of already laid out for you. So my imagination would run wild with these books, and I think because of the content in them, I'm gonna go ahead and have to pass. Now, this one is brought on by a conversation that I had with one of my friends recently. We were in a bookstore when we were at BookCon, and I was talking about the classics. Now, but I really had no interest in reading any of the classics. Now, I read Huckleberry Finn with my grandma when I was growing up, things like that, but for me, the classics just don't really appeal to me. I tried to read a couple of them. The only one I've ever read that I loved and still love to this day, and I recommend it to everyone if they've by chance not read it, is Fahrenheit 451. I loved that book, but when it comes to the other classics, they don't really appeal to me. Now I do like H.G. Wells and things like that. I like some of the stories. I like Edgar Allan Poe, some of the classic writings that he did. I really hate Shakespeare. Once again, that was another thing that I was forced to read in high school. But for me, I'm just gonna go ahead and pass on the classics. Life is way too short to read shitty books that we don't have any interest in reading. And so yeah, for me, other than the ones that I've already read, I probably won't ever read another classic. I hope I didn't offend anybody too much. I am really, really honest. I'm a super blunt person, and if I think something is crap and I don't want to read it, that's just how it is. But I hope you guys are having an excellent week. I hope you guys have a good Monday tomorrow, the start of the week. I will have the day off, so it'll be my weekend, and I'm super excited. But I love you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!